All right, YouTube. So, got some footage of practice in the background, but on the 16th of July, I played the first open class tournament that I've played since, 2007 technically, but 2007 was just a random tournament that I played because Tommy was running it in Columbus, Georgia. Uh, this one, not ready for tournaments yet, but I thought I'd go down there. Tommy was running it. Hadn't seen him in forever. It was in Albany, Georgia, at Lucky Break Billiards. And when you're playing tournaments, it's different than just hitting balls and playing around. Okay, it's a lot different. Especially when you're playing in a tournament that has like solid A players, very high level A players, shortstops, and even pros. So technically, an open tournament is nothing more than a tournament that anybody can play. Whether they're a pro, an amateur, anybody can play it, and there are no handicaps. Okay? So this was a smaller one. Um, I believe there were about 40 players, and um, in an open tournament, there are really four tiers of players. Okay, so let's just talk about that real quick. There are four tiers of players in an open tournament that has any kind of serious money. And the first tier is your pros and your champions. Um, they're the people that are expected to win most of the time. Your second tier of players are your players who are serious contenders. Let's just call them serious contenders. Uh, they are the people who are in gambling. You would call them a shortstop. They're somebody who is uh, a very good player and capable of challenging the pros on their own turf with no handicaps. Um, the pros are just going to win more consistently, but the shortstops or the tier two players, they have a chance. Then you have your tier three players. Your tier three players are your players who typically are pretty good, but maybe they have a full time job and they just can't afford to spend all of their time playing pool. Um, I would put myself in that class of player. The It's kind of a lucky shot I just got to even get a shot on this too. But anyhow, so right now I would put myself in that tier three. Okay, tier three being I have a lot of knowledge. I know the game. I do practice some, but I have a full time day job that I work probably close to 80 hours a week at. That pays me more than pool will ever pay me. Um, and so I put myself in that tier three class. I'm somebody who is a threat to get into the money, but I don't have the practice to have the consistency that I should. And so then there's the tier four player, and the tier four player they're donating. Maybe there's somebody who shoots pretty good, wants to take a shot at playing against it. Maybe it's somebody who has a decent amount of money and really just doesn't care and maybe wants to have the chance to play against a real a pro or a champion just so they can have bragging rights that they played against them even though they probably lose it. And so the tier four are the people who come to the tournament, and they're the vast majority of the people in these tournaments. Um, they are not. Every now and then they'll make it into the money, but for the most part, they're just not a threat. Um, so in this tournament, you had one pro, and that was not Tommy. Tommy did not play. And when I say Tommy, I'm talking about Tommy Kennedy. He did not play. He just ran the tournament. But Johnny Archer played it, and ultimately Johnny Archer won it and went straight through the winners bracket to the victory. You had two or three shortstop level players. You had Dale Stanley, who came in second in the Southeast Tour last year. Very, very solid player. Uh, he was my first loss in the tournament, was to Dale Stanley. He beat me 7-1, I think. Um, I didn't shoot much. Let's just say that I did not shoot much against Dale. And then George Rothrock was there. He had won Alabama state championship. He was another guy like me that's older that's coming back. Um, Kind of a living testament to how weird Fargo rate can be. George is a 389. And he told me the story about that. He had been without sleep and just kind of wandered into some bar tournament, went two and out, and they happened to report to Fargo rate, and he's never played another match where they reported. So he's a 389, but he is a very, very strong player. Uh, the And then the third shortstop was a guy named Ben Long. Ben, nice guy. He and I played some pool the day before, warming up on the Gold Crown Sixes. Um, Ben is a shortstop. He actually remembered me from the tournament in 2007. And ultimately, he was the one that put me out of the tournament. Uh, so, the main purpose in going to this tournament was not so much about the tournament or about playing. It was about the tournament environment, the tournament experience, if you will. Um, and there were some things that I had forgotten about and had forgotten to take into account. And one of those is that when you travel to a tournament, you're sleeping in a hotel, and things in the hotel can wake you up and cause you to have not so great an experience. It was about a 3.5 hour drive uh, to get there. It actually turned out to be almost 5 hours because there were accidents at all the major interchanges along the way. So I'm glad I went down a day early. Basically, it was a vacation for me. It was a 3-day vacation. I played pretty well overall. Um, my safeties were on point. I made some mistakes, and actually the two shots that I really missed against Ben, I should have made. Uh, but I'll be very honest about this. I had been shooting since 9 in the morning. It was 11 at night, and I lost focus. I need to work on my focus. Something else that I had to deal with is we were breaking from we were using wooden racks. My break was not where it should have been. Um, Actually, it wasn't my break that was the problem. It was my rack that was the problem. Um, the tables were not racking very good. Everybody was having challenges with loose racks. Um, and mine, let's put it this way. I had a break where I hit the one solid and 4 balls came out of the rack and the other 5 just sat there and didn't go anywhere. I need to pay more attention to racking and getting them tight in a rack your own environment like that was. So racks, I definitely. So this tournament was a bar box tournament, um, and I have not played a bar box since mid 90s, maybe. I mean, there's one at the bar that I go to that I maybe hit a ball on once or twice. But I mean, as far as being serious on a bar box, yeah, I have not. And so that was a bit of a challenge. The angles actually got me on a couple of shots. I scratched a couple of times where the angle on a 9 footer would not scratch. Um, I needed to pay more attention to the size of those. The focus thing got me bad. Uh, I lost focus. I'd been playing from 9 in the morning until about 11:30 at night. I lost focus, and that ultimately is what put me out of the tournament. Neither of the last two shots that I had, I was ahead 3-1 on Ben Long, who ended up getting third in the tournament. Um, I was up 3-1, and I just completely lost focus. I missed a straight in. Well, so I got a little close on my leave on a 6 ball, and I ran behind a 3. I followed behind a 3 for a leave on a 4. It was a um, it ended up going 2 rails into the side, which would not have happened on a 9 foot table. The angle was different, would have been different on a 9 footer. Not an excuse. I just lost focus. I'd been playing for so long. Um, Ultimately, though, had a good tournament. I ended up tied for seventh and eighth. The two people that won against me were Dale and Ben, who ended up in second and third place respectively. Johnny won it. I think I said that. It it was a great experience. And by the way, Lucky Break Billiards in Albany, Georgia. Um, Let me tell you, the staff was great. William did everything. William's the owner. William did everything that he could do to make that a great experience for the players and the people watching. Um, it was it was a good tournament. The money wasn't great. I mean, I so seventh and eighth paid enough for to cover my cost of going to the tournament plus all my expenses while I was there, my gas to get down, my food, my tips, my sodas. I don't drink alcohol when I'm playing pool. Um, it paid for everything except the room. So overall, did just fine on the money side of it. Had I not had to travel to the other side of the state, I might have even come out ahead. That said, great room. They had one, two, three, four 9 foot Gold Crown 6 tournament editions that I played on the day before. Uh, Got to play a couple games against Tommy when he was warming up for his challenge match with Johnny Archer, which Johnny won 21-15 over Tommy. But I got to play a couple of games as part of Tommy warming up. I won both of those games. Um, First time safety and then ran out from the ball in hand. And the second time we had a 3 or 4 inning safety battle that I won. Uh, Made a bunch of balls, played kind of a two-way shot. Tommy took a shot at it, he missed, and ultimately I ended up getting out and winning that game too. It was fantastic to see Tommy. He's a great guy. If you didn't know, he was sick last year. Very sick, like they thought he was going to die sick. Um, he's now recovered. He's back to his normal weight. He's actually looking pretty good. He's more muscle than he was before. He's always been less weight. Let's just say that he's always been kind of skinny. Now he's got some muscle on him. I think it was good to see him again. Hadn't seen him in a long time. So overall, that was the tournament result.